Well, no, you have to, if a girl comes over, then you definitely want the fancy glass Tupperware. That's like, that makes you look like really together.
I'll tell my dad that. Hey, Dad, thanks. You helped me look together when I brought a girl over.
I look like an
Things were
adult.
getting really hot and heavy, and she said, "Whisper something crazy in my ear," and I said, "I have glass
Straight up, if I was at a guy's house and he had glass Tupperware, he's getting it.
Tupperware."
It's like the mark of like an adult man. Like, but yours, as you admitted, has Star Wars on it, so you
It's got no, okay,
automatically
it's got
points
Star
taken
Wars
off.
Christmas stuff. It's like Chewbacca with a Christmas hat, stuff
Points
like that.
deducted. Points
No,
deducted.
I can't win, man. Hey, you. Did you know that there were 10,297 balloons animated for Up? Did you know that Bill Murray was one of the original actors considered for the 1989 Batman? Did you know that we have a Patreon? Well, check it out. You can find it in the links inside the episode descriptions or at our official website. It's a great way to support the show and even get yourselves shouted out at the end of every month. It really helps us out, and we are eternally grateful to each and every one of you that supports us. But for now, honestly, I really hope you just enjoy this episode. We're here for the fucking Christmas episode, first of all. But before we even get into that shit, I want to thank each and every goddamn one of you. We hit 6,000 total downloads since the start of this show, and it is all because of you guys. I love each and every one of you
Thank you
so much.
so much for the support this year. We're so stoked about growing the pod and just like we love doing this. Like we just do it because it's fun. And when we started this off, I said if we have like 15 people who listen to us regularly, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I just want it to not be ridiculous that we keep doing it, right? I want it to not be sad. And it's definitely not sad. So I really, really, really thank all of you guys for listening. If you want to see like fancier stuff from us in 2023, sign up for the Patreon. We would love to get After Effects and some other cool stuff so we can maybe get on YouTube. So any support you guys want to throw our way is awesome. But thank you so much for all the listens and for being fans, because it's just the best. This is the most fun ever. And we're glad that other people enjoy it as well.
We are, and I think that's a big part of why I haven't been discouraged or gotten away from this, is because I love getting to talk movies with you. I love getting to spend time with you and knowing that you guys are out there. Like SW Pants, swear to God, dude, you are my best friend. Like I love responding to you on Instagram. It is seriously some of my favorite time spent throughout my day is reading when you go through it.
Send us feedback. Yeah, 2023 is going to be lit. It's honestly 2023 is going to be primarily 1995. So we'll just go with that.
It's very true. 2023 is the year of 95.
The year of 1995. Take that out of context. But yeah, we're here for the holiday episode. I'm so excited. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's having a great run of it so far. Hanukkah starts on Sunday, and then Christmas the following weekend, and just all kinds of exciting stuff. I hope everyone has like snow and presents and all.
There was snow on my neighbor's house this morning.
There wasn't.
I'm not gonna lie. There was. No, there was. I swear to God,
there wasn't.
It was.
I didn't have the heart.
It was 32 degrees.
It wasn't snow, honey. I'm sorry. I didn't have the heart to tell you.
I should have taken a picture
because
you pissed me off so bad.
You did. Oh, was it Matt's picture that I saw, not yours? That wasn't you.
That was not mine.
Okay.
No, that was 100% Matt. And Matt, I love you from the day I met you at 6th grade camp, bro. But that was not snow.
No, okay. Okay, so that's the picture that I saw. Okay, Matt had
No,
a
that was
frost.
not my yard.
Yeah. Matt had a light frosting and was like, "It snowed. I swear I could see it." And I'm like, Honey, no. So, all right, I believe you, Scott. If you, I thought that was the picture. I thought that was you because I wasn't looking
No.
closely at pictures. I was like,
No.
no, it wasn't. I don't even have snow, and I'm in a place where that actually happens. So,
A lot.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't
but
believe you don't have snow. What the fuck?
it has snowed a couple times. It just hasn't stuck, and it's not that cold.
That's
Actually
unfortunate.
it's that cold. It's just not that wet. It's been in drought
Yeah.
because of global warming. Vote Democrat. Um,
We're nothing if not consistent here.
the primaries start in 6 months. Scott,
Oh
get
my
ready to
God.
start gearing up now.
I wish the boys would come back.
I know, and speak to us about politics. It's all right. Handmaid's
Yeah.
Tale is out.
All right.
So let's talk about this. So let's talk about what we're doing tonight, as we are now
What
7
are we
minutes
doing
into
tonight?
nothing.
Yeah, for
Um,
real.
so, okay. So for those who were with us last year, you know that our Christmas tradition is to take a Christmas or holiday movie that there are many of and do kind of an extravaganza. So last year we did many, many versions of A Christmas
Christmas
Carol.
Carol. We did 4 versions actually.
This year we're going to do the Grinch, which is very exciting. So tonight
Mhm.
we're going to talk about the Dr. Seuss original book, which for all intents and purposes is the original
Yeah.
1966 animated TV special. So we're going to talk about that. Um, that one is directed by Chuck Jones and Ben Washman, narrated by Boris Karloff. We're also
Love
going to
it.
talk about I know I said it without stumbling. We're going to talk about the 2000 live action, which is directed by Ron Howard, starring Jim Carrey and Taylor Momsen. And we're going
Love
to
Taylor
talk
Momsen.
about, oh, me too. We're going to talk about the 2018 computer animated, directed by Yarrow Chesney and Scott Mosier, and starring Benedict Cumberbatch. So those are the versions of The Grinch that we're going to talk about. Those are, except for the musical, all the versions of The Grinch. And it's our first time doing Dr. Seuss too, which is fun. We
It
haven't talked
is.
about any Seussy
I'm
things.
actually very excited about that. If you guys know anything about me, which you should by now, one of my favorite stories growing up was "Oh, the Places You'll Go." And when I was in 10th grade, the last day of school before summer vacation that led into my junior year, my algebra teacher recited the entire "Oh, the Places You'll Go" from
Wow.
memory, and I was just like, "Bro, what the fuck? Where has this been all year? Who the shit gives a crap about math?" But I was like, "Dude, can you just do that all the time?" I love Dr. Seuss. I love Horton Hears a Who. I love the Lorax. The Grinch is like one of the best stories about Christmas ever,
For sure.
and we're gonna tell you why.
Yeah, we are.
But first, we're
Love
gonna
me
tell you what it's about.
some Oh, the Places You'll Go though. I'm like I concur. That's the
Mhm.
best that's a good one. My mom gave me a copy of that when I graduated high school
I feel like
and
everyone's
moved
parents did that.
overseas. Everybody does, yeah, but I was like I held on to that one tight when I moved across the ocean
Hell
alone.
yeah.
I was like, "Okay, here we go." I gave it to Peyton for her
Did you?
it was supposed to be for her high school graduation, but it took me so long to come up with what I wanted to write and end as a message to her because I love her so much that
Oh,
I didn't get it to her till she turned 20. Because and I wrote
hmm.
that in the book. I was like, this is how long it took me to put my love for you into words. You're now 20 years
Oh my
old and I'm
god.
giving you this.
Peyton, it probably would have taken me twice as long because I love you twice as much. But,
I don't know about that. I'm like, she's my girl, my
mhm.
papes, my baby sister. She's
Oh
my
my
little
god.
sweetie. All right. Anyway, I'm like, we can. Anyway, so
I don't even love Amanda that much. No, I'm just I'm
all
kidding.
right.
You're all right.
Let me hit you with a plot. Yeah, Amanda's fine. She's
Yeah, she's whatever. Yeah.
I'm like, and shout out to my actual sister. Um
Yeah. Real family.
yeah. All right. Sick of Christmas and loud noises and all those damn kids on his lawn, the Grinch devises a plan to steal Christmas. What an asshole. Will his heart grow big enough in time to return Christmas to Whoville? Totally. But it doesn't matter because all he stole was stuff, and Christmas is about what's in your heart.
Mhm. Makes you feel real good.
Grinch is
Here's
so sweet.
it is. It's very sweet and it's so cheesy, but at like the end of the day, like this is just a very like cheesy story. And I think that's why it's like so. I think that's why it's endured so long. Is it is it is
Yeah.
just like a very cheesy, very simple. You learned your lesson. You're a better person story,
Yeah.
and I'm
And
fucking here
it's,
for it.
yeah, I love it. So you can stream these. The original 1966 is on Peacock. It's also on YouTube. Like you can watch a solid
Yeah,
version of
you
it
can
on
watch. It's
YouTube,
like
no
what
problem. It's
12
everywhere.
minutes.
Yeah, it's about 12. So that one's on YouTube. The 2000 version is on HBO Max. And the 2018, you kind of can't get anywhere, but you can rent it on
Mm-mm.
Amazon.
Yeah, which is weird because you would think it'd be everywhere right now.
We're going to talk about it because it was weirdly unsuccessful, which I don't
Yeah,
think I understand. So yeah, it is
I
weird
don't
that
either.
that's not really anywhere, but there it is. Um, let's go to the timeline. We need to pull out Miss Minutes for this one because
Yeah,
we're going to
Miss
be in
Minutes,
the
get us
temp
to the
pad a little bit.
timeline.
Yeah. In 1966, we're going to do a little bit of historical context of where all these movies came out. Americans protest the Vietnam War. It's the year of the Aberfan disaster in South Wales, which fans of The Crown will recognize. But that was
Mhm.
a horrible thing that happened in Aberfan. Batman starring Adam West and Star Trek both premiere on TV.
Let's go.
You want to give
Year
us
in the
2000?
nerd. I would
Yeah.
love to. Holy shit. In 2000, Bush versus Gore ends with a recount in Florida. The first crew of the ISS arrives in space. Tiger Woods becomes the youngest player ever to win a Grand Slam. Mad cow disease sweeps Europe. I actually also remember that.
I was
Like,
in Europe when it
weirdly, I
happened,
remember that.
so
That's
I definitely
crazy.
remember that. I was in London when that happened.
And Vermont legalizes same sex civil unions. Good for you, Vermont.
Go Vermont. Yay, Bernie Sanders.
This is the farthest into the future we have gone on this show. It is
I
probably some of the most
know.
modern shit we've ever talked about
Because we
here. I'm going to
never
give
talk
this one
about
to
the
Lindsay.
timeline when we, yeah, because
Yeah.
we don't do timeline stuff when we do modern movies. Like when we do Black Panther, we're not talking about like the year is
Yeah.
2022 and the, right? So
Yeah. Right now in your life.
right now, currently, the historical context of the movie that came out this weekend. No, but yeah, so the 2018 version, this is the furthest Miss Minutes has ever taken us in the future. The Me Too movement gets started. Brett Kavanaugh is nominated to the Supreme Court amid contentious hearings. American Meghan Markle is married to Prince Harry. And both Sears and Toys R Us go bankrupt.
God, it feels like a lifetime ago.
Rotten Tomatoes. This is
It's
some,
all over the place.
yeah, tell us about this.
Okay, so the only one that genuinely makes sense to me is the 1966 one. 100% on the tomato meter, which if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, we were talking about movies that are 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I didn't even think of this.
I would never have thought of that. I wouldn't think this was 100%. Like, I'm not mad about
That's
it.
what
It's
I'm
just
saying. Like, why? It's crazy.
because it's just kind of like the perfect old movie, I guess. Yeah, nobody has anything bad to say. And that's the
That's true.
critics. Like, it has a 95%
Yeah.
audience score.
Yeah, audience score is lower. I think it's
Yeah.
like a classic kind of thing. Like, it was the first Dr. Seuss movie we'd ever gotten, like, even broadly animated.
Hmm.
So it kind of makes sense. 2000s was a 49% on the tomato meter and a 56% audience score. So it's another Jim Carrey movie back to back that shit the bed.
Yeah. And in the hard way. Yeah. And then this is the one that blows my mind.
Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. 2018, 59% on the tomato meter and 51% audience score.
And this
I,
was like not a bad movie.
no, it wasn't. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I didn't see this when it came out because it was the year of our Lord 2018 and everything was horrible. And the idea of going to see that movie, honestly, was just like a joke to me. Like
Yeah, no, that's
I
fine.
love the Dr. Seuss animated movies, which we'll talk about more as we as we drag this on into the heat death of the sun.
Yep.
But I I really like the Dr. Seuss movies. I really like animated movies. I really like The Grinch. I'm a really, really, really big fan of The Grinch. I didn't like the Jim Carrey. I've been wanting them to redo it for years and years. And I was so fucking depressed in 2018. I couldn't bring myself to go see this movie. So this was the first time that I'd seen it because I just was like,
Yeah.
fuck you and fuck your Christmas and fuck everything. Like it was not my best year, to be fair. There was a lot of stuff that happened in my personal life that wasn't great, but also in the world,
True.
nothing was going well. And 2018 sucked. So
Here we are.
I just can't believe that. What I'm saying is this is the first time I'd seen that movie, and it was my favorite of the versions.
Yeah, that's what I don't get.
I loved it.
It
I thought it was
like all of
fantastic.
your notes for this one were banging.
I loved
They
it.
were top drawer for all of this stuff. Love you, Matt. And
people fucking hated it.
yeah, I don't get it. Maybe it was one of those things like people felt they didn't need it, which I don't get because the last one we had before that was 24 years ago.
This movie should have been released directly to our televisions at home during the pandemic. Everyone would have loved it so much. If this had come out 2 years later, actually, sorry, 3 years later, because Christmas right before 2020.
It would have been last year. Yeah.
No, it could have been Christmas of 2020, right before 2020.
It would have been 2020 because we still were in the thick of all this.
Yeah. That would have been great. People would have loved this if it was just delivered straight to their homes while they were stuck at home at the pandemic and we all got a new Grinch movie. But in 2018, nobody, I don't think we had the bandwidth for happiness. I don't think
we did either.
At least I didn't. So awards, nothing of note for the 66 or the 18, but the 2000 version actually won the Academy Award for Best Makeup and was nominated for Best Costume Design and Best Art Direction, Set Direction. Yep. Which I hated the way that movie looked, so I can't believe it got that.
Dude, it literally is the perfect example of if you took Dr. Seuss and made it real life.
But that turns out to be gross.
Yeah, no one wants to actually see that.
No.
Like, why do their noses look like that? Why do all of the buildings not like why are all the buildings lopsided and leaning and the stairs don't make sense? And the cars don't make sense.
And like the fact that it's practical effects, like there isn't it, like makes it even worse.
It's funny, like don't get me wrong, there are hilarious parts of this movie. But the fact that they have things in real life in the style of the art is just off-putting. It's just weird.
Not my favorite. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Here's the weirdest part of all this to like close this loop on the timeline. There is a reason that we're actually doing the timeline this time because it's fucking weird.
Yep.
The top grossing movies of 1966, it was The Bible is a film that
The Bible.
No existed. We must not have done an episode with a movie in 66 because I don't remember that. In 2000, fucking The Grinch was the top grossing movie domestically. And it tanked Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it sucks. People hated it. But it won Academy Awards and it was the top grossing film of the year. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. And I went to see it. I was really excited when that movie came out. Like, I was stoked to see a live action Grinch because I love The Grinch. Oh, yeah. And The Grinch is just a cool concept, like this fucking asshole. We're going to talk about it, but fucking weird that it wins it's the highest grossing film of the year. And then in 2018, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I want to let you guys know to give you reference for what else came out in 2000. Fucking X-Men came out in 2000. Yeah, Castaway came out in 2000. How did this movie become the top grossing movie of the year? That's insane to me. I actually thought that this was a mistake when you first posted this. American Psycho came out in 2000. What is happening right now?
Because everybody and their literal mother went to the fucking theater at Christmas. That's what happened at the end of the year. Everybody went to see this movie at Christmas, and it's just insane. Like, I can't believe it made that much money, and then it was just so bad. And maybe that's part of why no one went to see it in 2018 because they were like, we all spent our money on that garbage.
Yeah, they're like, we've done this before.
We're all out of goodwill and fortune for humanity. Fuck everybody and everything. It's 2018. Is what
we gotta let that go, man.
In 2018, however, the top grosser was Black Panther, just topping Infinity War by like nothing.
Bombay.
Indeed. So that's cool because now there's a new Black Panther. So let's get out of the timeline an hour into this episode.
Get out of here. When it comes to movies like this, and we did this with The Christmas Carol, I think the most important thing to start with is this is a very classic tale. It's the whole reason that we're doing this episode. This is a very large impact on the pop culture zeitgeist and just the world in general. The legacy of this story is seen in just about every Christmas tale since 1966. There's some
Yeah.
kind of fucking nonsensical reference to the Grinch in some way in almost every Christmas movie, whether they call somebody a Grinch or they talk about stealing presents or just some little girl saves the day. I don't know. I haven't seen all 8,000 of the Hallmark Christmas movies, but I'm assuming.
Or like or like cutting the roast beast. Like these things are just
Yeah.
part of the vernacular, right? It's just part of our lives. And they all come
You
from
call
this
people a
story.
Grinch. You
Yeah,
just
you call
call
people
people a
Grinch.
Grinch.
Well, and isn't it funny that like I don't really care to speculate on whether this is intentional on the part of Dr. Seuss, but like Grinch, like ending in ch, like there's a lot
Oh,
of
totally is.
words that
Totally is.
mean like you're an asshole, like bitch, that end in
Mhm.
ch, and like you're a Grinch or a bitch or a grouch, there's so many. I think grouch is actually probably where Grinch comes
Probably
from.
Grouch. That's probably why he's
Um,
green.
but yeah, right. Like I think it's probably comes from grouch, not bitch. But I do like how
I
much that
choose
like
to believe it was bitch.
this bitch, the Grinch is like such a bitch though. She like
Yeah.
it's true.
Grinch, please.
But yeah, it really permeates in everything. And like you said, it's not even necessarily where there's a direct reference to it, but anytime that there's like rhyming at Christmas, anytime that there is stealing presents or impersonating Santa, or like you said, cute little kids saving the day, that all kind of comes from here. And it's part of the fabric of Christmas and of society and of the holidays. Like it's really built in. And I think there must be a million Christmas episodes
Oh,
of
there
something
so
that are
is.
based on the Grinch. I couldn't find like a comprehensive list, but I know that like any show we watch, there's bound to be references. But the really
Yeah.
good one is South Park's Woodland
The
Critter
Woodland Critters.
Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because that's a direct Grinch ripoff, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's the same rhyming scheme, and it has the lions living up on the top of the hill, and the whole thing is it's the Grinch. Um, and it's fucking hilarious. If you haven't seen
It
Woodland
is.
Critter
I love
Christmas,
that
please do.
episode.
Yeah, and then go watch Imagination Land where they make a cameo appearance. Um, the other
Kurt
one,
Russell's getting raped by Christmas critters.
oh look, they
What
look
do you
so
get?
nice, and it's like what's the show that they're ripping on in Imagination Land?
It's Encounter.
No, it's the show that they go through the portals to different worlds.
Stargate.
Yeah, it's Stargate. It's a
Yeah.
Stargate reference, and the others. It's
Have you
so
guys thought
funny.
about sending? Have you thought about sending Kurt Russell? We
Yeah,
did it. He
Kurt
got
Russell.
killed by Christmas critters.
Oh, try again. Try again and edit.
Critters. Yeah. No, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care.
Aw. The other one that everybody knows and that we just reviewed, so go back to that episode, that has a
Yeah.
lot of elements. So this is The Nightmare Before Christmas in terms of like replacing the presents and faking Santa. And it is my pervasive headcanon that the scene where Jack Skellington is actually in Christmas Town and he's like looking and seeing what Christmas is about,
Oh yeah.
I very much headcanon that to be Whoville. Like there's no question in my mind that Whoville
That'd
is
be
where Christmas Town
lit.
is.
I'm
Do you
not
want to
gonna lie. That
crossover?
would be sick as fuck if that was
Disney doesn't have the
legitimately true.
rights.
No,
It's
they
cross
don't, and I don't
rights.
care.
They
But that'd be
couldn't
so
actually do
cool.
it. They couldn't actually do it. But in my head, it's absolutely Whoville where he goes.
Yeah, that would be
Uh
awesome.
yeah. Um and then it's the three movies we're doing. We just talked about all that. The book came out in 57, right? Then the
Mhm.
animated TV special in 66, the live action in 2000. There's a Broadway show that came out in 2006, and then the 2018. Um so decent amount of Grinch. Who
I
do
don't
you
get the
think
need for a Broadway show, but then again, this is also the same thing I said when they were like, "Hey, we should make Shrek a musical," and I'm like, "All
everything's a
right,
musical in the
yeah."
2000s? Everything. Mean Girls is a musical.
What?
Like, yeah, on
I
Broadway.
don't understand my world anymore, man.
Sorry, Hamilton also exists. Actually, I've heard the
I,
Mean
yeah.
Girls musical is good. So,
I'm sure it is. That's what's so fucking frustrating, man.
oh,
Like,
I
I'm
love
sure it is
Broadway.
really good.
Hey, unrelated, but when I'm on the East Coast, you should come visit, and we should take the train to New York, and we should go see a show.
Yeah. You shouldn't say we should. Just say that's what we're doing.
Because you haven't been. Have you been in New York City? Have you been on Broadway?
Yeah,
Have you
I
seen a
saw Lion
show
King
on
on
Broadway?
Broadway.
Oh, okay. Oh, so did I. All right. Well, then maybe if you've done that already, then maybe we'll skip the train and we'll just go see a show in Boston.
No, we should third act or second act spam a lot where you sneak in with the crowd.
Oh, we could do that. I'd be
Yeah.
down. Um, who do you think looks the best of these movies? And for listeners, if you guys want to see some of the aesthetic from this, it is in our show notes. So sign up for the Patreon and you can get access to the show notes, and we have all the images to go along.
Very, very true. I'm gonna tell you who doesn't look who looks the I would approach you on the street level is 2018's.
Like in a good way,
There's
like I'm
like in
not
a
scared
good
of
way,
you.
like I'm not scared of you. Like
Like
there's
I'm not gonna have a
nothing.
nightmare.
Yeah, like there's nothing menacing about it. He just looks like a disgruntled Sesame Street character. Like, he genuinely just looks like Oscar the Grouch's brother came to town and was like, Larry. Like,
I think that's in line with his character too, because ultimately
it
we
is.
are really need to be able to sympathize with him probably more than the others, the way that storyline goes that we'll talk about. So I
Yeah,
agree. He's definitely the cutest and cuddliest and the nicest looking. I really like the way that Illumination's handled.
I do. I love the way they handle Dr. Seuss's animation movies.
Yeah, I think it looks really, really good. Like Seuss belongs in CG. It should, like we said, it looks weird in live action with practical effects. It should
So,
be computer graphics and
yeah,
yeah,
so that's what I was gonna so that secondly, if we're going from, like, 1 to 4, um,
in terms of best to worst, or
it's
least scary
in
to
turn
scary. I'm like, I don't
least
know
scary
which.
to, "Holy shit, why
Depends
are you
what
in my
you're
house?"
looking for, right? Like, yeah, it
Yeah,
depends on what your goal is.
um, second least scary is Jim Carrey's. And the only reason that it would be scary is, like, he does a really good job with the smile, and when he does need to be imposing, it is pretty fucking scary. Where he actually does get, like, aggressive and, like, dark, and yeah, so then I'm like, "Okay, that makes sense." Um,
Yeah, I
th
think Kill It With Fire to the Jim Carrey look.
yeah,
I
I
like
figured.
it's you're right though. I agree with your evaluation of it though, that like he is kind of nice looking when he needs to be nice. Like it's believable that you could forgive this
Yeah.
guy, right? Like uh but but it's also like
Oh
really
my god.
disturbing and horrible. Like he is
No, it is, and
Carrie turns the scary on. I actually get why they won the Academy Award for makeup because he
oh, I
looks
do
great.
too, absolutely,
The
he looks
rest of the
great.
movie, however,
Yeah.
kill it with fire. Everything else in this film, kill it with fire. But Jim
Yep.
Carrey is not horrible. I would agree. It's not my favorite, but it works.
Yeah. And then second most scary is gonna be the 66 animation. The curling of his face, the, like, creepy pencil lining and drawing, the way he snakes his way around the house. Yeah, that's just off-putting as fuck. Um,
I agree. He's pretty creepy and menacing, for sure.
yeah,
And I know what you mean. The way
but
he slides around the house and stuff. Like, yeah, he's definitely scary, but he's got that sort of fluffy animation enough that like to
yeah,
like be still somebody you might consider forgiving at the end,
yeah,
right?
like, he would
Maybe.
still, like, pinch his cheeks or be like, "Huh," like, "Yeah, I
And
guess
it's
you've, like,
like
learned your lesson, come on in," or whatever. Fuck no to the book one.
to the but yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Abso-fucking-lutely not, dude.
The book is really scary. Like the book
Dude,
one is like it's
and
all
yeah,
black and white lines. It's the only color is the red of
jacket in his fucking eyes?
his eyes and the interior of the refrigerator from which he's stealing the roast beast. And like
Yeah.
this dude, you know what this reminds me of?
Oh
Uh,
god.
and it's gonna take me on my little mini spiel on this.
Hooray.
It reminds me of the Cheshire Cat, the
Ooh.
the original Cheshire Cat in this. And
Yeah.
for those who have not heard the Alice in Wonderland episode, I love the original, like the creepiness of the original book and the illustrations that are with it, and how like
Mhm.
deeply disturbing and terrifying it is. And I feel the same way about this. And this is why the Jim Carrey one disappointed me when it came out and why I was like so excited, because The Grinch was a book that I was enamored with because I was like, there is something deeply fucked up happening here and I wish someone would
Yeah.
explore it. Because what in the name of God is the Grinch? And can
No,
someone like
dude,
please
like
explain further? And I always wanted a like Silence of the Lamb style suspense thriller of the Grinch. Like I want someone to do something fucked up with the Grinch. This I want the same thing for sorry, for Harry Potter. No, I want the same thing for Alice in Wonderland and Peter
oh
Pan.
yeah. I mean, there's video games that make Alice a rated R game, but no, I think that this is one of the only Dr. Seuss movies that I would be like, yeah, 100%. This should be a scary movie. This absolutely should be like a dark, twisted Christmas tale.
And not like a Gremlin style or like
No.
jump scare, and not like this like poo monstrosity that makes me really upset that it's coming out. Um
Oh yeah.
I'm not
I forgot
comfortable with
about
that.
that.
I'm not okay with that.
I'm still gonna see it, man.
I'm not. I like wish you well. I refuse. But
I know.
yeah, I'm like, don't just no. They can't do that's not okay. I don't care that it's now in the public whatever, public domain. I'm like, don't do that to Pooh Bear. But I and that's not what I would want for the Grinch either. Like not gory, like like suspense thriller. Like, oh my
Right.
god, he's in
Like
the
almost
fucking house.
supernatural level. Like
Yes, like a creepy, like a Stranger Things, like you don't see the shark, but it's fucking in
yeah.
the house stealing the roast beast, and like, what is it? And why I would like a Grinch story told not from his perspective, where it's like the purge, like everyone has to lock up at Christmas because the
Oh,
Grinch is gonna do
because of
some shit.
him? Yeah, that'd
Like,
be
yeah, like I want to
sick.
see some shit. I want to, or it's like a great Christmas, and then like weird stuff starts happening and no one knows what it's about, and they're like, it's okay, we're still gonna have Christmas, everything's fine, we're gonna do the big celebration, but like low key the Grinch is like there. I just
Dude, you need to watch the movie Krampus
do I
from
though? I
Chris.
think I've
Yeah,
seen that and I don't think it's very good.
it's from the same guy that did Gremlins,
Yeah, see,
and
I
it's
don't.
that's basically what it's about. Is like this kid is gonna send a letter to Santa, and then he doesn't, and he rips it up, and so Krampus finds out about it and ruins this kid's life. It's fucking crazy.
Maybe I'll have to watch it. And also we're gonna do we have a request the timeline for Gremlins 2, so look out for
Gremlins
that
2, the
coming
new
in the new
batch.
year.
Let's go.
Yeah, we have a request the timeline for that. So if you guys want to see some like crazy shit, request the timeline. Um Anyway, yeah, I agree. I think the scariest one is definitely the book. The best one is
Yeah.
definitely the 2018. Um, how about adaptation wise? Who do you think? Who do you think nailed this? And what's the definition of nailing it in this case? As we just talked about the version of the Grinch that I want.
You know what's funny, like, about this is I genuinely can't I don't feel like this should be allowed to be included. Like, the 1966, I don't think should be allowed to be included in the adaptation because it's literally just a copy.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit more. So I think we said earlier that the 66 was 12 minutes. We had that mixed up. The
Yeah.
book is a 12-minute read. It's a 12-minute audiobook.
Oh,
Um,
right.
Which I paid $2 for, like, really happily. I
Hell
was
yeah.
like, "Yeah." Like, 12 minutes for the book, 26 minutes for the TV special, and a lot of
26 minutes
that
for the special, okay.
pretty sure a lot of that is credits and singing. Like,
Mhm.
so it's twice as long, so it's not exactly just a carbon copy, but it's fucking close. Like, it's only narrated, it's just reading the book over the animation. We've all seen The Grinch, we don't need to explain that to people. You guys know what that movie is.
Right, yeah, everybody's been here before.
Yeah. All the way down to that last can of Who Hash,
Ooh,
which
hash.
Who Hash appears in every version.
It does. It's very
Mhm.
true.
Very
Each
much
and
like,
every one.
the sliding in Christmas Carol. Remember there was, like, a couple things that were like, "This stays through
Oh,
every"
yeah.
like,
In
this
every
is in the
single one.
book, and it makes it into
Mhm.
every iteration of it. So
Yep.
same with the Who
Sliding on
Hash.
the ice and all that stuff. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Um, uh, this is where it becomes like a problem and a personal preference, honestly, because each, if we're excluding 66,
Yep.
then 2000 and 2018 tell wildly different stories.
Yeah, they do.
like obviously the premise is the same. This dude fucking hates Christmas, but the reasons, it's the relative similarities stop there.
Yeah, the themes of the two movies are really, really different. Even though the and we're going to talk in at length about this, but the pervasive theme of the story is that Christmas isn't about stuff; it's about love and people and yada yada.
Right. It's not
Um,
about material things. And I think that's why I can't say which has the best adaptation, because it's consumerism is not a thing in the 66 one. It's not. They don't talk about it really at all. They don't talk about the kerfuffle of buying things, and like, everybody's about like 99% off for the next 5 minutes, kind of stuff like that. And that's really all the 2000s is about.
we'll talk about this. I'll talk about this more, but I think the original does say it at the end because it spells out the meaning of Christmas. Because the whole thing is that it's a dramatic irony. It's like in the book, it's a surprise for the Grinch that it is about that, because the Grinch goes into his plan saying Christmas is about stuff, so I'll take all the stuff and then there won't be Christmas. And then Christmas happens anyway, and he's so moved by the fact that it's not the stuff that he becomes a good guy. And then but in the other ones, they just have room to explore it in the story, right? It's like, it's not that it's not there in the
Yeah.
original, it's just that there's no time in 12 minutes to show us Whoville and people being stressed out, and, like, Dr. Seuss wasn't writing a story about, like, a single mom who's, like, working a
Yeah.
night shift, like, so, yeah, the other which the 2018 one does. So, yes, there's a lot more room to, like, explore different themes in the other two adaptations because there's more time. And specifically, it's an hour and 45 minutes for the 2000 one, and like an hour and 83 minutes for the 2018.
Yeah, I think it's because the 66 is just that story. It's just Christmas doesn't come from a store. Perhaps the Grinch thought Christmas is something more.
And that's it. That's the extent of your
That's it.
lesson. Yeah, we have like 2 hours in the other movies to
Right, exactly. And then like 2000, you learn like it's not just about the stuff they bought, it's the shit that they went through to buy it. It's how crazy everybody is about this holiday. The family is walking around with eggnog glasses on their hats, and like the mom is stealing all of this shit around town to like upgrade their Christmas lights and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the,
And
like,
then
weird, like, neighborhood competition
yeah,
C
the weird
storyline
fucking
is really
neighborhood
funny in that one.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. But then
It's
you get into 2018 and it's like it's not so much about consumerism this time. They do talk about it and it does come up here and there, but it's more about just being with the people that you love. And it kind of does circle back to the 66 lesson. It just does it in a little bit more of an adventurous way. Like Cindy Lou isn't like, I'm trying to catch Santa Claus. I want to know what the meaning of Christmas is. This is like, I need to talk to Santa Claus. I need to help my mom.
yeah, and yes. Um, the 2001 really is all about, like, Cindy's search for the meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
And then the
The Grinch is
2018
just
one's
the
more about the
vehicle to get her
Grinch's
there.
personal journey, about his backstory and his right, like,
Yeah.
it's less about it's more about Cindy in the middle movie, and it's more about the Grinch in the last one. I I agree that it's really hard to say which is, like, the better adaptation of the 2 because there's so much room to dig in this, which is, I think, why it made so much money in 2000, because I think
Yeah.
this story is, like, really, really good, obviously. As we've already said, it's a huge part of, like, the fabric of Christmas,
Mhm.
and there's so many questions. If we only had the book or the first movie, you and I could talk for 2 hours about, like, what the fuck? I can
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
us sitting down just being like, "What is the Grinch? Why is this happening? Who is this little girl?" Like, we could
Yeah.
probably do
We'd
a
be here
3-hour
forever.
long episode
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to speculate what the Grinch is. So I get why everybody went to see an hour and 45 minutes of this, which I know, listeners, sounds like not a lot of time. Seems like if you went to a movie that was that long today, you would say, that was
It's
barely
a
a movie.
Marvel
Why
movie.
aren't I at home? An hour and 45? That's not no, that's like no
The
movies go to
last
theaters in an hour and 45 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. The last below 2-hour Marvel movie we had was Love and Thunder. It was an hour 52.
Okay, 52. Alright, yeah, Love
Mhm.
and Thunder wasn't long, but you know what I mean, like, this it sounds like that short.
Oh, yeah, it's just unheard
um,
of.
fucking
Unless it's a
promise you
kid's
that
movie.
movie drags. That movie is so
Yeah.
much longer than it has any fucking right to be, even as being a kid's movie. It is way too long. Um, the whole second act sucks. I didn't like that part about it. But I do like Hopkins.
I could listen to that man read the phone book.
Who's your favorite narrator of the three? We have Boris
Hopkins.
Karloff, Anthony Hopkins, and Pharrell Williams.
See, here's the thing. Pharrell Williams narrating the 2018 one was good, but Anthony Hopkins doing it gave it that classic Christmas feel.
It
I think
really
that's what
did.
it is for me. Yeah.
It's the British guy, it's the nostalgia feels. You
Now
know
you
what
just
I
make me think
mean?
of South Park when they do the episode all about Pip, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"Hello, I'm a British person."
Well, it's like David Attenborough. It's like it is very classic Christmas. But I mean, Anthony Hopkins is also my favorite but I'm glad that they had Pharrell Williams do it because
Yeah.
when you think about what we just said in the larger context, um, doesn't it suck for a whole lot of people that like classic Christmas feel is like old white British guy? That's
Right.
where like we're like that's what Christmas means to me. Like I understand the sort of implicit problem there, listeners. So
Yeah. No, and I
um
get it too. It's like
also
everybody
good that
thinks of
we
it as
can maybe we can spice it up. Maybe kids in the future might not think that Christmas is just all about being like old and white and male. Maybe there's another
yeah.
like other ways to have Christmas. I don't know. I just so I'm not I liked Pharrell Williams and I liked the different take on it, but I know what you mean. It's the comfortable thing is to hear Anthony Hopkins and he was my favorite too. Um
Good. Boris Karloff's isn't bad. It's
and
just
yeah, nobody
Anthony
talks about the
Hopkins is
original.
I
It's like
know. It's like I'm just like when you have Anthony Hopkins, like why the fuck would you ever go back? Like to Boris Karloff. Like if you had to compare the two, like excluding Pharrell Williams, like I'm not
dude, it
it's
should
no
have been David
comparison, dude.
Attenborough in 66. Like, who
God,
the
that
fuck
would have
is
been
Boris Karloff?
awesome.
It should be David Attenborough all the time for everything, anything that you need
That would have
narrating.
been so fucking rad.
It
Oh my
should be
god.
him. Um, all right, let's talk about the characters.
Yes, let's. So we're gonna start with Cindy Lou Who because one of the three movies literally makes the whole movie about her. In the 1966 original, and then in the book, even, she is not integral to the story in any way, shape, or form. She only comes into the story when Grinch gets to a particular house, and then he gives her a glass of water and scoots her back up to bed. And then he continues along with his journey. She does not change his mind about anything. She does not influence his decision about anything. She
I don't
is
think she even
not
has a line of dialogue.
she just makes a noise.
Well, and she's like, it's like her house that he goes to is like because the book and the original don't have like a montage of him
No,
going
it's
to a
just
bunch
like
of
that's the first
houses.
house he's going to. Yeah.
This is like the example. This is like, and when he got
Yeah.
into a house, this is what he did. And Cindy Lou is in that house and comes downstairs and is like, I need a
Mhm.
glass of water. And he's like, I'm Santa Claus. Here's a glass of water. And that's her involvement. That's it.
Yep. Bye. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, bye. Merry Christmas. But she's really
So
memorable and cute, right?
it's because
Even
she's
though
the
she
only
does
Who
nothing.
with a name.
That's true.
Very true. Um then we get the 2000s, and I genuinely love that they were like, what if we actually did make this about her?
Yeah, like she really is like the main character of that movie.
She is. Everything starts with her. Where Are You Christmas is like a Christmas bop.
I
It's
didn't know that came from that movie. Like
oh
I
yeah,
had to look that up. I was like, did they made this song for the Grinch 2000 that made all this money and
they
everyone
did.
hated it. It's
Hmm.
amazing.
Actually, fun fact for you guys, if we're talking about Christmas songs, did you know that Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas did not exist until the movie Meet Me in St. Louis?
I didn't know that.
Song was
It's
written for the
crazy how
movie.
many of those songs are written for movies. Like I thought this was just like a
I'm
classic
almost
Christmas
positive White
song.
Christmas is the same way.
It is. White Christmas comes from something. I
The
don't
Bing
know.
Crosby and Danny Kaye movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Any Hoodles down in Whoville. So with Taylor Momsen, her whole thing is I'm the cute girl that wants to get to the bottom of this. And she is actually kind of acting as all of us did. All of us who grew up knowing the Grinch story, she is like the thoughts we didn't know we wanted to have answers to. Where did the Grinch come from? Why does he hate Christmas? Why does everyone not talk about him?
And like, and what's the meaning? Like, she has this like
Yeah,
kinship with the Grinch where like she hears stories about him. Because in this version, and this version, I believe alone, the
alone.
Grinch is like a pariah. Like, people know who
Yes,
he
he is.
is. So
Mhm.
she hears these stories about the Grinch and she's like, someone else who didn't get Christmas? Because like it's like the only thing that happens in Whoville, which is why my headcanon is that it's Christmas Town. Like, I think it's just always
It has
Christmas.
to be. They live on a
Like I
snowflake, dude.
like
Like,
100% of the time it's Christmas
yeah.
in Whoville. Or like every 2 days it's Christmas Eve again. And
Yeah, they even have a clock that counts down and someone freaks out. There's only 12 more hours till Christmas. And everyone's like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
it's Christmas Town from Nightmare Before Christmas. Like a
It
hundred
is.
percent, their whole life revolves around it. And so Taylor Momsen is like, but I don't believe in that. Like, it's like an
Yeah,
interesting, like, it's almost like a religious allegory if you wanted to go there with it, where she just is like,
you could.
but I don't fit in with this. I don't believe in this thing that everyone around me is like so enamored with, and I don't understand what it's meaning. I don't understand why we do this. And she's looking around seeing everyone stressed as fuck too, because that's the undertone, is that like the mail room is out of control. And there's like everything's
Mhm.
so
She goes
stressful
to
at
her dad.
Christmas. There's
Yeah.
so much consumerism, right? And she's like, why do we love this? What is the meaning of Christmas? Is it
She
just
even tells
all
her
of this
dad,
fucking
yeah.
stuff? She
She's like,
asks
"Doesn't
the
this feel like a
Grinch.
bit much?"
Yeah. She
Yeah. Oh,
asks
she does
him,
ask the
like,
Grinch,
why
you're
do we
right,
do
yeah.
this? She asks him when he's dressed as Santa. She says, what's the meaning of Christmas? When he's there stealing from her house. She's like, why do we do this? And he's like, I don't fucking know. So when she hears about the Grinch, she's like, someone else who feels like me, I want to understand him. Right.
Mhm. Maybe he
So,
went through the same thing I went through kinda thing, yeah.
yeah. Or maybe he knows something I
Yeah,
don't.
exactly. Here's where this is where things kind of fall off the rails, is when she goes to meet the 2 women who raised the Grinch. Now we're getting this weird backstory about where he came from, and you're very much right in your notes. It's v and we'll get it more into it when we get to, the Grinch himself, but it's trying to explain something that we didn't really need an explanation to, and so the only reason we do that is because Cindy Lou Who, Taylor Momsen's, presence in this movie needed a reason to look for Christmas. So they tried to give it this reason, and it kinda starts falling off the rails because it just makes no sense. We don't need a full-blown backstory to why the Grinch hates Christmas.
I mean, I don't know. I would say that we definitely do want to know why he doesn't like Christmas. Like, what is your beef is like the number one question about the Grinch, right? Like, that's fine with
Yeah.
me. But where I agree with you is that it's like I'm losing my train of thought. Fuck. God
Her
damn it.
empathy. Like, why does she empathize with him? She just wants to know what the point of Christmas is.
Right, and that I know what I was gonna say. I think it's fine that we get a backstory on why he hates Christmas, right? That's what I was gonna say, is
Mhm.
I like that we get that. What I didn't like was the whole second act with this, like, where he comes to town and they wanna give him the award, like,
They wanna give him the award. Yeah.
that like, the setup for why he then tries to steal Christmas that year, because he's otherwise chilling.
He
And
actually
we're
isn't
gonna, like,
involved
get into
in
his
any
stuff
way.
in a second. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's, like, not trying to be there. He has the big cymbals playing over his head, all of them because it's in the book. The book, the only reason that they give for the Grinch to hate Christmas is it's the noise, noise, noise. Like,
Mhm.
he hates those fucking kids on his lawn. Like, that's it. That's the extent of it. So they all do a thing where he tries to block out the sound. Both the adaptations focus on him trying to block out the
Yeah.
sounds of Christmas from the mountain, and that's why he's on the mountain, because he doesn't want to fucking listen to it anymore. He's worked retail for way too long. He just too many winters, too many winters. Um, I didn't I didn't like the middle So the Grinch was going to sit
Yeah.
out Christmas, right? He's trying to block out Mariah Carey.
Yeah, he
He's
wasn't
trying to
involved
sit
in
out
this in any
Christmas.
way.
But in the 2000 movie, what happens is it's like sweet from a Cindy Lou perspective because she
Right.
wants to give him this award for like most awesome Christmas person, and they say we give this to the person, like no one wants to give it to the Grinch because they're all like he's a Christmas pariah, he'll ruin Christmas, and she's like no, we should give it to the Grinch because the award's supposed to go to the person who like needs Christmas joy the most, and they're all like all right, well I
Yeah.
can't argue with that shit. And Cindy Lou is so brave in this one. She goes up to the Grinch's mountain to give him the award, and
Mhm.
she wants to like learn more about him, right? Her whole character arc is like, what is Christmas about? And like, how can I get close to the Grinch to like know what he knows and like talk to him about Christmas and like see this, like, she wants to find this like other perspective. She's like looking to broaden her
Yeah.
horizons by going to this fucking creepy dude's like creepy cave,
Cave
and like
house.
the whole thing is fucked. Like I'm like, yeah, it has, the middle one has some really nice themes, but it's also weird and I don't know. So
Yep.
that's Cindy Lou in that one. Should we talk about, do we have anything else to add to Cindy Lou
No, not in the
in that
2000s one.
movie?
I am gonna tell you guys right now, of all of these adaptations, I actually love the 2018 one the most.
Me too.
I love her whole plan, and I'll tell you why. Why, Scott? Well, here you go. It doesn't involve the Grinch at all.
Not at one iota. She's never heard of him.
Yep.
She has no, they are just existing separate from one another.
It's
And
literally 2 stories.
because this story is so well known and it is so much part of the culture, they have built-in dramatic irony. This could never have worked in the original movie or book or whatever,
No, not at
because
all.
nobody knew this, like to have them just be totally unrelated, like it just wouldn't work. But I mean, I guess they are in the, they don't, well, she doesn't do anything in the
Yeah,
book,
so
so it doesn't really
we
count. But
go kinda all over the place. She's not important at all to she's the primary focus to she's half the focus
and we know as an audience that they're going to connect. We know that Cindy Lou is
at
going to
some
be like
point,
the
yeah.
reason that he decides to love Christmas. Like we know she's going to be important and that she's going to be
Yeah,
involved
you
with the
know that going
Grinch.
in.
Yeah, and we're watching it with this great dramatic irony where like she doesn't know anything about him. She's just on her own thing, doing her own thing. But we like know for a fact that they're
At
gonna
some point,
be
they're gonna meet
important to
up.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the best part about this one too is coming off the heels of the other Grinch movie we just got, and by just got I mean 18 years prior to this.
Right.
Um, this isn't about her at all either. Her mission is not about her in any way. It's completely selfish or selfless. It is completely the one of the most innocent quests I've ever seen in a movie. She
Yeah.
just wants her mom to get a break at work.
Yeah. So her mom works like the night shift. I think she's a night nurse.
She's got to be a
Um,
nurse, yeah.
I think we see the little hospital tag on her in the bus when she, in
Yeah.
the first scene that we see her, she's like going home at the crack of dawn to go take care of the kids all day after she worked all night and then go back to work
Yeah.
all night. And I think she's wearing scrubs. Like I don't know, maybe I hallucinated that, but she had a name tag on her. I think it looked like she was a night nurse. And yeah, she just wants her to get a break because she knows how hard she works and that she just like wants, she basically is like, my mom's life is fucking garbage and I can tell. Like she is so stressed out, like things are tough. And she says the one person who could fix it for sure is Santa. And it's
Is
like, oh
Santa.
God. Oh no. Like
Well, and then
that's
see, and
not
that's the
great.
other cool thing about this is you go into this and you're like, oh shit. As soon as she says that, you're like, well, okay, now we know how the Grinch is going to be involved. She's going to think that he can fix her problems. And that's where it becomes, that's where their two stories mingle. Because up to that point, you're just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what are we setting up here?
Yeah, that's the great dramatic irony because we know the Grinch is going to dress up as Santa and we know that she's trying to catch Santa that night and we know
Yeah.
that it's going to be him. Like her whole plan is like to kidnap him basically, right? She wants to do like a
Yep.
Nightmare Before Christmas on Santa and talk to him
Kidnap
about,
the Sandy Claus.
well, because she says it, thanks. Now that's for the rest of my life.
You're welcome.
Fuck. God, I hate that movie. Damn it, Scott. Ugh. But we totally know that's gonna happen though, right? Like we know that
Yeah.
she's gonna catch him in her and ask to help her mom, and that Grinch is going to be the one doing it. We know
Mhm.
it's going to be him. So it's like
Yeah.
really great how they play off of, like, I guess that could work. I guess I take back what I said before. It's not that it could never work. It's that could work from a
No, but
storytelling
it's
perspective, but it's better when it's meta because we only
yeah.
know because of the meta element, and we know because it's meta. Like it's like Inception layers of meta. Like it's really good. I really like the way they do it. And like,
Yeah.
and it tells us something about Cindy, right? Like right away, it's like she knows the meaning of Christmas. Like that's what I think is cool about this. They're opposites. It's really
Yeah.
weird. 2000 version Cindy is like explicitly searching for the meaning of Christmas, and in 2018 she 100% knows what it is and embodies it throughout the whole movie. She doesn't care about any of the materialistic stuff. Like what she wants is never that. Like she wants happiness and joy and for everyone to be together and not be so stressed out. And she totally
Yeah.
understands the meaning of
Exactly.
Christmas. So that's
And
cool. That's like ready made for her to have the Grinch have a change of heart. Like it's all very like this. It's great. The story's awesome. Like the Grinch is such a good
it
style of
well,
movie.
and it
It's
is, and that's that's why it kind of blows my mind that it didn't do well. And you know what it also might be is people are like, "Oh my god, another fucking Grinch movie, like we know this story." It's like every time we get a new version of Pinocchio coming out, you're just kind of like, "Why?"
I still haven't watched either of the new ones.
Don't watch the live action one. Apparently the Guillermo del Toro one's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I heard that, so I'm tempted. But also, no more
Yeah.
Pinocchio ever.
Yeah, I don't need
Um,
that at all.
but I did really like this. She reminds me of Ellie in Up, the little girl.
She does.
Or the little girl, Cindy Lou Who in the 2018 The Grinch.
2018. Yeah, she does.
I really liked that version. That version of the movie is what we wanted in 2000. Like if that like
Yeah.
that's can you imagine how much money this would have made if no one had made a Grinch adaptation up to this point? If this just didn't, and it wasn't
Oh, yeah,
2018.
dude. It just aesthetically, it is just a weird movie. Whether you like Jim Carrey or not is totally out the picture. Like he did a great job as the Grinch. Whatever, dude. The makeup looks fine. He was really funny. The rest of the movie, and I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it every time it comes up, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah,
It
it's just
should have been
disturbing.
animated.
And it's this whole middle act where they have this
Yeah.
award that Taylor Momsen tries to give him. So I was saying before, right? And he comes to town and there's a whole fucking shit show.
Oh. He
And they're
has to
like,
go
"Oh, we
through like
shouldn't have
this
given him the
fudge
award."
feeding thing and
Yeah, and he hates it, and they all try to
yeah.
engage him in Christmas, and he's an asshole, and it's a total disaster, and it's just it serves for nothing. And then he's like, "Now because of the last like 37 minutes that we just spent doing that, now I'm gonna go be the
Mhm.
Grinch and decide to go on my path to get Christmas." And I hated that. I really preferred the way that 2018 did it, with the middle act being a big montage to get ready for the Christmas night instead of like this stupid catalyst to make it happen. That's what I hate about the 2020 version. Sorry, 2000. Jesus.
No,
What
and
is time?
I get who knows. Um I get that, and this is a really good segue into the section about the Grinch because each version of the Grinch acts in a way different from the others. The original 1966 Grinch is just, I can't fucking stand this noise. You guys won't shut the fuck up. I need to do something about this. I'll take the things away that make you happy and cause you to make that noise.
He is legitimately the most relatable character
Oh my
ever.
God.
He just wants the kids to shut up and to like be left alone with his dog and his snacks. Like he just is like,
Yep.
everybody fuck off. He's so relatable to me.
No, the 2018 one is the one that's most relatable to you.
Oh no, yeah, that's true.
Because that's one where he like overeats the snacks and that's why he has to go to town.
Oh my god, what yeah, he has to go and see
Yeah.
everyone because he
He's like, God damn
emotionally
it.
ate through his stores. He goes, "How much emotional eating have I been doing at the holidays?" And it's just everything in the house is gone. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
"Oh
just
my god,
gone.
I feel so attacked." Like I'm like so called out. I'm like, I'm alone at Christmas this year because I'm moving soon, and I'm just not like I'm not trying to do that right now.
Well, yeah.
And and that's like fine. I'm not like sad about it, but I'm like, oh yeah, no, I totally feel this. Like this guy's like, everybody just fuck off. I just want to be alone with my pets. Quiet down, you with your flu. I'm not going out. I'm not coming to see
Yeah,
you.
ew, fuck you guys. Yep.
Leave me alone and just eat everything.
So then we get 2000. and we get more backstory. We find out that he doesn't like Christmas because the one time that he tried to get involved in Christmas, he was mercilessly bullied.
Yeah.
Like, even his teacher is laughing at him. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
And it's like he has a crush on the
Yeah,
girl.
he has a crush on Martha Mayhew, and that stupid fucking asshole guy that would become the mayor is
Yeah.
like, you're 12 years old and you've already got a beard. Like, bro, who the fuck are you, man? Get the
Well,
fuck out of
okay.
here.
That's what's weird about the 2001 though.
Yeah, but even before that, the 2000s tried to set this up, and I mentioned this earlier, and I'll expand on it a little bit more now. They try to set it up like there was something inherently wrong with him from the minute he arrived.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Penguin in
Batman
Batman
Returns.
89 or Batman
Yeah,
Returns, whatever. Sorry, Matt.
that's
Um,
okay.
in in the one where there's Danny DeVito and he's the one that we spent 2 hours talking about. Um, it reminds me of that though, like when he eats the cat, like something's wrong with this guy
Yeah,
from the
there's just
moment go.
something innately weird, and you get that from the
He eats
very
the
first
plate.
time. He eats the plate. He laughs when he knocks the baby's pumper seller away.
Yeah.
It's like it's just he's inherently devious. And when I first on my first rewatch of this, because I watched it twice because I do think this movie is really funny.
I watched the 18 one twice.
I figured you would. You're like, I rented it. This is great. I'm gonna watch it over again.
More
Um,
again.
yeah,
Dude, I didn't even have to rent it. Shout out to Kim, whose Amazon I'm on, and whose
hell yeah.
sister is also on her Amazon, and her sister's kids. So they own all this shit. Whatever I want to
Oh
watch, like they
fuck
already
yeah,
got it,
dude.
and that's why I'm on hers. It's not just for stars. It's because her sister buys all kinds of shit and Venmos her, and I'm like, yes, dude.
That's amazing,
I
and I
get so many free
absolutely love that.
movies. I watched this twice, 100% for the 2018 one, and
Yeah.
I watched Spirited twice, and part of me wants to go back one day and incorporate Spirited into our Christmas Carol discussion. Saying.
Okay. I'm down. But then we go. So then we have like this weird attempt to explain, like, okay, he hates Christmas and that's why he stays it there. He doesn't hate Christmas. He hates the people who love Christmas. It's not so much like he doesn't
Yeah.
give a fuck about the holiday to begin with. He hates all of the people and what Christmas does to those people. So until Cindy Lou sticks her fucking who knows into his business, he's not even going to come down from his mountain. He doesn't give a shit about them.
Yeah. And it's because this one's all about rejection.
It
Right? This
is
one's all about like nobody loved me at Christmas. Like I was always rejected and then
at
I like
yeah,
tried at Christmas and I got
and I got
rejected
shot
at
down.
Christmas and like
Yep.
fuck it. Like and that's tough.
It is, and it's fucked up, man, and he had nowhere to go, and he looked like no one else in town, and so now this little girl
Yeah,
comes into
that's
his
the
life.
other weird thing, right? Sorry, but like
Yeah,
that's the other weird thing, right? He acts weird. He has this like Christmas run in, but like also he looks weird. Like that's why he's like the penguin. He's like no, he doesn't
yeah,
look like any of the other Who's, and
he's
people
off.
make fun of him. It's like he's not a Who. Like you get the feeling this is like a Loki situation. Like my dude's like a frost giant or something that's like
It
been
is, that's
taken in.
exactly what it is, like, no
Like
one knows what
he
he is,
doesn't
like, where did he come from?
it's like Elf, like, he doesn't belong there, like, they're not his
Yeah,
and but it's totally unexplained for a movie that's too long, that part of it is totally
yeah.
just
Why was he
left
blowing on the
hanging.
same wind that they were
I
and where are
just
the rest of his people? See, that it creates more questions.
it was, like, all well, you know where they are is they're in one of the other fucking Seuss
They're on one
worlds
of the fucking yeah.
because they all live on a snowflake or a speck or,
Yeah,
whatever
or
it
they go
is.
through a door in the forest and yeah,
It's yeah, that's what it is, like, it's the fucking Seuss multiverse, but
multiverse.
it's super, super weird, and it's all about rejection and that he feels rejected, so then he rejects everyone else so that they can't reject him back, and which is like, it's not bad. Like it's
No,
a
it's not.
good
It's like
movie.
the building blocks are there. It's just genuinely, I think what bothers me the most about the 2001 is the aesthetic.
It
Everything else
is.
about this movie clicks for me. The comedy is great. The fucking like the acting is phenomenal. The music isn't that bad. Um
The music's the same, and I mean, largely the same couple of songs and themes are used throughout all
Well,
3 of the
yeah,
movies. They all take from the first one, so it's like it's all pretty good.
yeah.
Like,
It's
they
always
they
the
base
"You're
it
a
on
mean
that,
one,
so
Mr. Grinch." Yeah.
yeah, and then
Um. Oh yeah.
but they like, it's all based on that, and that's pretty good, so everything else is pretty good. But it's dude, it's the aesthetic,
It
and
is.
it's that middle act. That's the problem in
Right. So
that.
that okay, so that's where I'm leading into is this middle act. He decides to give them another chance. He's like, "Look, dude, I'm kind of lonely up here. I'm by myself, right? All I have is this dog and the toxic trash that I eat,
Yeah.
the glass or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I'll give it a shot. Whatever. I'll give it a shot. It's, you know what it is? It's that Bob's Burgers episode where he's like, I'm not gonna go. And she's like, you're going. He's like, fine, but I'm gonna drink. Yay. And I'm gonna complain the whole time. Oh,
Yeah, there's beer on the
that's
ship.
exactly what it is. There is. There's beer on the ship. Um so he puts himself back out there. He's like, you know what? This little kid's like, she's gonna get into me. Whatever. And what happens? But the fucking town is exactly the same as he left it.
Yeah, everyone's an
But
asshole to him. I mean, they kind of
here's
try though.
no, I know. And here's the biggest thing about it. The Grinch is never in any version of this story ever the villain. He's never the villain. He starts off that way, but the real villain is the effect that Christmas has on the rest of the people. And the only one that has a legitimate physical flesh and blood villain is the 2001, and it's the fucking mayor,
Yeah, he's just such
because
an
the
asshole.
mayor is the one that incites everybody to treat him like shit.
Yeah, it's really like about discrimination, and like there's a
Yes,
lot happening here. And that's just like Grinch's side. Like, we just talked about all this crazy shit happening on Cindy Lou's storyline. Like, this middle one is like, for how much I don't like it, there's a lot happening. Like, and it's not
there
bad. I
is.
like what they're trying to do here. And I like this, like, I like the kinship and the parallel story between he and Cindy as they both try to like
Yeah,
figure it out around this holiday. And they run into each other a bunch of times, right? They have like a bunch of random run-ins before Christmas.
yeah. He
At which
saves
time
her,
she
and
like weirdly, believably still thinks he's Santa, even though she knows the Grinch pretty well at this point. And
and
like,
she would have
it's
seen his fucking
obviously,
hands by now.
well,
Yeah,
like his face, like
yeah.
he like looks her in the eye. Like, it's like, what? but,
I've seen your eyes. Like,
yeah,
okay,
like, what the dude, it's not he's not even wearing a mask, it's just him in his Santa
yeah.
hat. And she's like, "Santa, what's the meaning of Christmas?" And I'm like,
And he's like,
"Cindy."
I'm trying to steal your tree. Can you shut the fuck up, kid?
Yeah, but I like their little parallel story as they both try to kind of understand Christmas and what it
Yeah.
and whether they want to be part of it. And yeah, the mayor really instigates all the discrimination against him, and like, it's it's like he's like pretty okay in it because he tries,
He
and then
does,
as
and that's the
in
thing, like, it's just bad shit happening to him. He is the result of, like, not having anybody, like, there to understand him, like, in any
yeah,
way, shape, or form. And then
and
Cindy Lou
wanting
comes along,
love.
and she kinda does, and he just wants someone to be like, "Dude, it's okay. You don't I don't get Christmas either. It's a fucking weird, right? Why are we
And
all
they
acting like this? It's insane."
I love their little thing together, and like that they're the only ones who see through the consumerism, which is
Yeah,
like
exactly.
pretty crazy in this one. Like, it's definitely,
Yeah.
this one is the one that hypes it up the most for sure.
Oh, yeah, the
Because
dude
the
throws a
dad,
sale for the next 5 minutes that everything in the store is 99% off. Are you shitting me right now? What in the hell?
like the dad working in the mailroom is a good, because it's all the
Jury
presents,
duty,
and it's
jury
like,
duty, eviction notice, eviction notice.
oh my god, that was so funny. I died when he was handing out jury duty at Christmas.
At Christmas, it's so
Like, Jim
fucking great.
Carrey was really good. I have to say, like, he was a great pick for this. Like, I
Yeah.
hated this movie, but the themes that they had in it, like, it was pretty good. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like the IMDb versus the global or the domestic box office. I really like that
Yeah.
embodies me. I'm like, it should make all the money,
Yeah.
but also it was awful. Like, I But there was a lot of good stuff in here. Jim Carrey was really, really good. I preferred, and this could be our before I just repeat myself again of what I didn't like.
Yeah.
Um, I preferred the Cumberbund version because,
Bumble Snatch Cumberbop or whatever.
yeah, I
The
preferred this.
2018 one.
I did. I preferred this a lot because, um, the biggest difference aside from like, okay, there's a lot of differences, I guess, but one of the really big differences between the movies is that we know that we have a first act where we have the Grinch and the Grinch fucking hates Christmas. And
Yeah.
then we have a second act where the Grinch steals Christmas. And then we have like a 1 second third act where the Grinch is sorry.
He learns his lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. And then everyone's fine and they sing a song. But in order to make this longer than 26 minutes, there needs to be an expanded second act, right? And the third act is
Right.
him learning his lesson, but we need like a much larger second act. So in the live action, like we said, it's this like bullshit that we hated. In the Benedict Cumberbatch 2018, it's this awesome full act that's just a montage. It's just like
Oh,
him
yeah.
trying to figure out like how he's gonna steal Christmas and like what he's gonna do, how he's gonna get his reindeer. Like he does a fucking like
Oh
drone
my
map
God.
of Whoville. Being like
Dude.
this is like how many houses. Like he's doing math. Like it's awesome.
It's
It's
so
so fucking
fucking good.
it stays fucking focused. This movie, right? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot going on in the Jim Carrey movie, and some of it is very intelligent, but this one just stays fucking focused on this stays on the point. This is like we are going to steal Christmas. Let's find out how. And then in the third act he steals Christmas and learns like,
This isn't right.
why he
Yeah.
shouldn't have stolen Christmas, right? But we get
Yeah.
this like whole extended thing.
I
It's
think
so awesome.
I think one of the best things about this one too is no one knows anything about him. No one knows who he is. There isn't this stigma around like, dude, don't go up the mountain. That's where the Grinch lives. He's more like this
Right.
urban legend kind of thing.
He's
They're
not
like,
even
dude,
known.
he's like,
In the
yeah,
middle
like no
one,
one even knows who
yeah.
he is.
In the
The
middle one,
middle
he's
one,
like
it's
an
like this
urban
fucking
legend.
legend. Like, dude, do not go up the mountain. You're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, in the Cumberbatch, nobody's ever heard of him. It's not a thing
Yeah.
because he's not. So what's revealed is he's an orphan, but he
Yep.
didn't have like drama with the town. Like he
Yeah.
just is somebody, and he moved up
Mm-hmm.
to the mountain, and nobody knows
Yeah.
who he is. There's no history. There's no backstory. He just is alone. It's
Yep.
so sad, and he's just up there
It
emotionally
is.
eating through all of the Who hash, and I'm like, man, I fucking get it. I would too.
Yeah. I will say this though for it. I do love that each time that we get one of these stories, he loves Max. He's never an
Yeah.
asshole to Max. Never
Well,
a
he
dick.
is a little bit in the 2018 one, and then he
Kinda in the 20,
apologizes.
yeah, he does apologize. 2020 or the 2000, god damn it, dude, you got me doing it now. The 2001, he kinda does when he comes home and sees Max dancing to Christmas music.
He's always a little bit tough on Max, but he always feels bad about
Yeah,
it. And Max
he
is how we
does.
see like that he is an asshole because he's an asshole to Max too, in a
Yeah,
little bit in all of them. But that he's always a little bit sorry about it, and like he does
yep.
keep Max around. Like it's like we like that's how we know that he's not totally horrible from like in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It's our cue. It's our
Um,
cue.
unlike, oh my god, I'm gonna tell you guys a story right now. So I saw the 2018 Grinch in theaters. Saw it with my sister, saw it
So
with
you
my
still
2
had
older.
joy, all right.
Oh, yeah. I saw it I saw it with my 2 oldest nephews, and if you guys are new to this podcast, if you have never watched an episode of this show or ever listened to an episode of this show up until now, you guys do not understand or would have no knowledge that the greatest joy a movie, television show, or random thing can bring me is sporadic loud noises out of fucking nowhere, or random car horns, or someone's hitting like an air horn or something. The 2018 Grinch movie did not in any way, shape, or form prepare me for the rain horn scene. And I swear to God, when he blows the rain horn and the little goat appears and just screams in his face, I
Like the
lost
Ragnarok
my
goat.
shit so fucking bad. I had to leave the theater. I was losing my
Stop
fucking
it.
mind. I swear, you can ask my
You did
sister. I
not
was
leave the movie
no,
theater
I swear, I walked out
at the
and I
age of
walked.
29 or whatever.
No, I did. I'm dead serious. I walked back into
Ridiculous.
the theater right as he's walking across the bridge, and he's like, "Then we can find the. Will you stop following us?" So then the goat runs away, and then the goat comes back, and the goat scares the shit out of all the other reindeer, and I fucking couldn't handle it, dude. This shit
I
was
love
this.
you.
Oh my god, dude, this
You're
movie
such
was
a nerd.
so. I
Guys, for the
am.
record, Scott was sober when that happened. I want you
I
to know
was. I
that.
was
Scott
hella
was
sober.
stone cold sober when he
I
left the movie
was.
theater laughing so hard at
I
2018's The Grinch.
dude, I was.
You're a
I
fucking nerd. I love you.
You guys don't even understand, man. Like, oh my god, I am the simplest man when it comes to humor. Like, dude,
You
just
are.
I
I mean, we
swear to
talked about
God,
this for a larger conversation on humor and comedy. Check out Ace
Ace
Ventura from
Ventura.
last week. We
Yeah,
talk about this a lot. Yeah. On my distaste for everything Scott
yeah.
likes. It's-
I believe her exact words were, "Everything you love is worthless."
I think that's what I said. I think I said devoid of value.
Oh,
It
devoid
was-
of value, and everything that you love and find funny is worthless, Scott. And I just thanked her.
You know what though? I do agree that this movie was really funny. I laughed a lot at
Yeah,
this. I liked it. I liked I liked the like rap song.
yeah. It
Yeah,
felt
he's incredibly
modernized.
relatable. It was
Yeah,
absolutely. And it was like I don't know, it was I mean the 2001 was modern to its time as well, right? So
to
it's
its
as
time.
modern
Yeah,
as they all have been for when they come out. But I really liked it. And I liked the way that similar to the 2000 movie, they do have a parallel storyline between Cindy and the Grinch. But
yeah.
like we said before, it's really about us knowing that like she's trying to catch Santa and he's trying to pretend to be Santa.
Yep.
Uh, and I really like that. Um, but I also liked the way that they like this theme isn't about what is the meaning of Christmas. This is really about like why doesn't the Grinch like it? Like why is he such an asshole?
Yeah, like,
Like
where
that's what
did
this is not
his
even
personal hatred come from?
and it's not even where did his hatred of Christmas, but like why are you such a dick? Like why do you hate everybody? Because he has like the one guy who's like the lumberjack who's like, he's my friend. Like,
Oh,
people
yeah, and
generally are like, "Hey, it's Grinch, Mr. Grinch. He lives up on the hill. Wanna be buddies?" Like, the people who've heard of it, he's not like you said, like, he's not this scary urban legend. He's just like this guy,
yeah,
and people are like, "Hey, why don't you be more friendly?" Like, it's like the grumpy old man that people like to be like, "He hates us, but we love him and we try to get him to be our
"That's
friend."
Crazy Larry," or whatever, like, yeah,
Totally, and he's just like this grumpy old dude, and but everybody wants to hang out with him. So it's like, yeah, it's about Christmas, but also low key, it's not even really about Christmas. Like it's like he just hates the sound of everyone being together because he found himself
and
alone
he
at
doesn't have
Christmas in the
anyone. Yeah,
orphanage. Like he never had a family, so he's like super bummed, which makes sense. Um, and that's what this one's really about is like, why does he feel like that? What what is he missing? What does he really want? And then him accepting that love. So it has that rejection thing in common with the other movie, right? Where he feels rejected, so he rejects them. But then it's like, actually, I just need to like accept the invitation to dinner. Like that, right? Like it's like, or I could just go to Christmas dinner like everyone's been asking me to. It's about like
right,
him doing some work on himself, right? Like in the other one, everybody hates him. Yeah, in this one, no
right,
one
okay,
hates
so
him.
that's
It's
it,
just
like,
him.
no one is like, "Fuck you, dude, don't ever come to our town again." Everyone is like, "Hey, like, what's going on, man? Like, how you been? Like, you like my decorations for my front yard and stuff?" And Grinch
Yeah,
is like,
come to
"No."
Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then in 2000, they're like, "Dude, ew."
They hate him. They're, like, super
They
prejudiced
do.
against him. Nobody except Cindy, who's also exploring the meaning of Christmas, wants
Exactly. They're
him to
like,
be
"Why
in
the fuck do
town,
you
right?
care?"
That's the whole story in that movie, and I like we talked about it a bunch, but I like this other one better where it's really about him doing the work on himself and like
Yeah.
trying to learn the true meaning of Christmas and like so let's talk about that and let's just keep going with the Cumberbatch version with the meaning of Christmas stuff
Yeah.
and see what we haven't touched on this cuz like the other interesting thing about this is that in the Cumberbatch the 2018 the Grinch like materialism isn't so much the thing that he hates compared to the other movie. Like in 2000 he like specifically hates
That
the
they buy shit,
consumerism,
and he's
all
like
the
he talks
stuff.
about it like, "You guys consume and consume, and it all ends up at the dump, which is where I live, and I see it all the time," and it's very Penguin from Batman Returns.
Exactly. It's
Um,
like totally the penguin. It's like the
yeah,
penguin at Christmas and it's really creepy and
it is.
but
You would have thought
in
this was done by Tim Burton, but it's not, it's Ron Howard.
dude for real and what? And so
Yeah.
but this one Cumberbatch kind of learns to hate that materialism while he's out there and while he's doing his recon during the second act. And he's like, "Oh, look how
Yeah.
much this is about stuff because he never had any stuff." That's the whole thing. Like he felt left out because there
Mhm.
was no Christmas at the orphanage, which like seems really unlikely. Like I really got to think that like anyway.
Yeah, that was a bit of a stretch for me too. I was like, "You
I'm
gotta be
like
kidding me."
nothing. Like
Like,
it's just so like what the fuck? Who was in charge of Christmas at the orphanage?
yeah, everyone else around here is so fucking nice, and then you're gonna tell me that they didn't give a fuck about Christmas? Hold
They
on
didn't do
with that
anything
one.
at the or when this
Yeah.
is Christmas town and it's Christmas like 100 times. Like it's 100% of the time
You
it's
guys literally
Christmas.
live for this shit?
So when he like learns how much he doesn't like the consumerism while he's already
Yeah.
doing it, which is interesting. And then the whole family stuff stays with him through his whole movie, which is cool. Like he had like the reindeer leaves because the reindeer has family, and he's like,
Has
"Oh
an
fuck!"
actual family of its own, and you're
Like,
like,
all
"Damn it."
right, yeah. So he goes to be with his family, and that's like wicked sad. And then
It
he
was.
talks to Cindy about her mom, and that's like kind of what starts to break him. Like not
Yeah.
entirely, because he still
No, because
leaves
it doesn't
Christmas
have anything
Town
to do
with
with
stuff.
Christmas. He realizes, "Oh, shit, like, this is that one kid who
Like that's what she
this isn't
wanted.
what
Fuck.
Christmas is about." Like, yeah, this I didn't see any of that when I was scoping out the town. Where was all
Yeah.
of this?
It's it starts to break him, and then he like
Yeah.
then when he realizes that everyone's fine anyway. That's what happens in all of them when he sees that they
Yeah,
don't
that no
care
one
about the
cares.
stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
that they still have Christmas, and they say in this one, Cindy Lou's mom's, she's like, "Oh my god, but what about Christmas? Like it's fucking gone." Like they wake up and she thought she had this like really great talk with Santa. Like she thought Santa was gonna like fix her mom's problems. Like she thought her plan worked because they
Yeah.
have their whole side plot to capture Santa and like eventually Grinch eats a cookie that is like seriously Stranger Things style trapped with like a string
Oh, yeah,
to
dude,
wake
it
her
was
up.
wild. That
And it,
whole fucking thing is sick as hell.
a string trap takes them like all of December to plan in their
Yep.
treehouse.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're kids, so
It's
but
hilarious, but it
still, like,
totally
it's
worked. Well, and he says in his retcon, like he's like nobody eats cookies because that's the distraction. Like you can, and it's like the last house, and it's her house. So he's like, "Oh, I'll have a cookie. My night's over," and then
yeah.
gets caught by Cindy. And uh, yeah, I enjoyed that. I liked his little talk with her. Oh, and Cindy's mom says right after she's like, "But Christmas is gone." This is what I was gonna say. I'm
Yeah.
all over the place. She's
Yep.
all freaked out because she just talked to Santa, is what I was trying to say. On Christmas morning,
Mhm.
Cindy Lou wakes up and is like, "What the fuck? Like Santa and I were cool. What happened? Like, where's Christmas? What just went down?" And she's like, and I was just here. She's like, I was up like an hour ago. Everything was fine. And and she's like, "Mom, what are we gonna do though? Like he stole Christmas." And she's like, "He didn't steal Christmas. He just stole stuff." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm not crying. You're crying. Like
Yep.
what? That's so sad." And then when they sing and stuff, the Grinch realizes he was wrong. Right? That's the same in all the stories, right? He decides he was wrong after he sees that they have decided not to care.
Here's the thing, though, and here's why I do think if you were to compare them side by side, why 2018 is the better of all of them is because only the Grinch acknowledges that to himself. when he's up on the top of Mount Crumpet ready to dump all that shit. He has this inner revelation that it's just that Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, he thought, is a little bit more.
And then his heart grows 2
And then his heart
sizes,
grows three times, three sizes or whatever. And
whatever.
then, but in the 2018 one, Cindy Lou's mom already knew this. This
Yeah.
was a thing everybody was aware of already.
Right, that's the
And it
whole
was
thing in The
him
Grinch,
learning.
that's in all of them, that they all know that already, they all are like, "Yeah, no shit, Christmas still happens," like, they don't care. They're like, "Oh, whatever, it's still
Right.
Christmas," and he's like, "What? It's still
But in the
Christmas?"
exactly, but in the 2000s one, you don't get that as much because
Oh, right, the townspeople have to
the
learn that too in the
townspeople are like,
2000s one, you're right, you're
dude,
right.
what the fuck? Yeah, because even the mayor's like, well, I hope you're happy. This is what happens when you invite the Grinch to Christmas. And everybody's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
fuck
right.
you, Cindy. And then
And she's like, "But that's not what Christmas is
and
about."
she's
You're
like,
right, that they have
fuck
to
you
learn
guys.
that too.
Yeah. So I think that's why I like this one is it got back to the whole like, no, we know that that's not what this is about. And it was nice to see that Cindy Lou had been doing this awesome thing for her mom this whole movie.
Yeah.
And her mom was already like, love you, kid. And I think that's
Yeah.
the most important part about the 2018 one is it does show the parallels between Cindy Lou and the Grinch in that Cindy Lou has the compassion and the understanding and the love and the family that the Grinch never understood. And that's why she is able to accept that's what this is right away. And the Grinch had to do all of this just to figure that out.
I really like that in the 2018 one that it's all about him not wanting to be alone is the lesson that he learns in the end.
Yeah.
And it's like he has this awesome moment. It was like actually I think my favorite part of the movie just from this perspective right now from a like funny haha or whatever. But
Yeah.
I like when after after he's been caught and returned Christmas, he goes home to the mountain and he gives Max a present and he has like this introspective moment where he has to like take personal responsibility and have individual growth or something, right? Like they actually take
Right.
a beat in this 83-minute movie to have this like it doesn't just end with like he brings the presents back and everyone says come to Christmas dinner. He goes home and like is alone and
Yeah.
has to like live with
He
that and is
accepts
like
that defeat. Yeah.
yeah. And then Cindy comes and invites him to Christmas. And she says, "You've been alone long enough." And he admits that he didn't hate Christmas. He hated being alone. And like, it's really good. Like,
Mhm.
it's that, I prefer that message to the
Consumerism.
2001. Yeah. Cause
Yeah.
it's not really about family and being together. That one's really about like, oh, it turns out we didn't need stuff. Like, there's even a moment in that one where they're relieved that the presents are gone because it was so fucking stressful.
Yeah.
And they show that a little in the 2018 one with Cindy's mom. Like they show how stressful Christmas is, but it's really hammered in the 2001.
Well, and I
And
think
it's really more about that.
yeah, I think the another big reason that we don't cover it so much in the 2018 one is the 2001, that's all it's about. By the time we're making the 2018 one, we're like, dude, we get it. We know. We don't have to show Batman's parents dying again. Like we
Please God.
know like what this is.
And it's more focused on the Grinch, whereas the other one's focused more on the people of Whoville.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
difference, right? So it's like, yeah, it's more about him. And I like his little storyline. Like it's awesome. Um, but yeah. I like the way that they handle this in both of them. I obviously prefer the 2018. I'm just thinking if there's anything else we had to say on this, but I like the way that they expand on the original story, you know?
I think that's why we don't spend so much time talking about the 66 one. Is the 66 is just the framework to tell a bigger story and that's what 2000 and 2018 does.
Well, they all incorporate the heart and the specific
Yeah.
details. Like almost like they I think they both read almost the whole thing. There's a lot more deviation in the prose in the
Yeah.
2018 one. But it's the same rhyme style, and it's the same heart, and like they're getting the same message across. They're just like really filling in the gaps, like what we could say here for 3 hours if these adaptations didn't exist and be like,
Right.
what?
Holy shit! Are you
Can
fucking
you
kidding me right now?
imagine? It is funny to think about the original 66 movie though from that. Like if we just try to forget about the other two adaptations and anything we
Yeah.
know about the Grinch, like my dude just is
Oh, it's
like,
just
these
questions all
fucking
day.
kids on my lawn. I'm just
Yeah.
done. Like, I'm gonna take Christmas. Fuck you. That's
Fuck you guys.
insane. With a dog and a sled, and he's gonna go to every house. Like, how? And like, and we get
So
those answers because we see him game it out in the 2018. So it's
yeah,
I
he
love that we
totally
have
figures that
these
shit out.
adaptations. Yeah.
Here is something that I fucking loved about both of these, and I'm gonna take us into the room requirement.
Yeah.
Because I don't have
Let's
anything
start to
else.
close her out. I don't either.
Um, why is the both? It's gonna be two questions. The first question is, why is the Grinch so abnormally strong? Like, they make a
I
point,
don't
and this
know.
is gonna lead into my second question. They make a point in the 2001 to talk about how fucking strong he is, especially when he's a little kid, because they're when they talk about him having his freak out in the classroom.
Oh yeah, because he's like a different species from the other. That's why, because he's from some other part of the multiverse. Like he's not one
He
of
is,
them.
and like it's this is going to lead into my other question. I just said that, but I need you guys to understand that this seriously weirded me the fuck out. When he lifts the Christmas tree, they do this like common comedic thing where it's like a headshot of 3 or 4 people talking and talking about the same thing with different text every time. He lifts the tree, and then the mayor is like the fury, and then the mayor's assistant is like the rage, and then it goes over to Martha Mayhew, and she's just like the muscles, and you're like, okay, where did we just go right now?
Dude, I don't know, man. Early 2000s comedy. Like we're
Yeah,
still we're I mean, when that movie came out, we were only like a precious 6 years from the weird blowjob in Ace Ventura. So
no,
like
we
I
were.
assume
That's
it came
very
from
true.
there. Like it's
We were, and
we're
like,
not we're like right in there. I feel like you like by then we're only a couple years out from like animal noises
oh my
in
god, Talladega
Talladega
Nights.
Nights and yeah, like we're right in again for a longer discussion on this shit. See last week's episode. Yeah, we're right in the heart of that. So it's like that's what
So this is like my bigger question. Obviously, Martha Mayhew is in love with the Grinch, and that's how the 2001 ends. I get that. That's fine. That's whatever. He deserves it. He's been on that mountain alone for a very long time. Um, get you some, kid. All right, like whatever. My question is, in the 2018 one, is the end of the movie trying to set up that Cindy Lou wants uh Grinch to go out with her mom? Or did they just
that
invite
is.
him over to breakfast? Because I'm kind of like, it's weird the way that they
Well, they
have
invite
this
him to
interaction.
Christmas dinner with everybody else. Like the whole rest of the
Right.
world is there. All the Who's are at the house.
Yeah.
I don't think it's explicit, but I don't know. That wasn't my take. My take was like
I mean, it wasn't my
they
take either. I wasn't just like, oh, dude, those are some Nala level come fuck me eyes. Like those were that none of that thought crossed my
no.
head.
I don't think it was
But
explicit, but like, sure, maybe.
okay.
But Cindy never talked about wanting her mom to date. Cindy just wanted her mom to get to like take a nap occasionally. So
Yeah.
like, I maybe, but I didn't feel like that was I, subtext even. I'm like, maybe like that could be your head canon.
No, I don't know why. I just thought that would be kind of nice. If
I think it would be nice too. I don't think it was like the plan.
no, I don't think it was the plan in any way, shape, or form. I just would be totally here for it if that's actually the route we went.
I would be here for it. Grinch needs some love.
Hell
Although the
yeah.
love story was weird in the one before. He's a different kind of thing than they are. That's
Yeah,
the
he's a completely different, like,
it's like so strange. But the biggest question I had, the real
yeah.
question here is what is the situation with Santa?
Yeah, why does he never show up? Why is he never shown? Is Santa real in this universe? Or is he just like, uh, like the Easter Bunny or like the Tooth Fairy or whatever.
I would argue that in the original book and the 66 and the 2018, Santa is not real. I think
I don't think
Santa
he
is
is.
explicitly not real.
Yeah, I don't think he
But
is.
low key, the Jim Carrey version, um, he is. Like they say that he is, or that they have to wait for him, or he's gone already. Like they make, I can't remember what it was because I was like so mad I was watching that movie. But there's, so,
Yeah,
um, they mention at some point that about Santa, like that Santa factors into the plan or appears. Like they imply that Santa's real, but they really strongly imply that he's not real in the 2018.
in the 2018 one, yeah, that's why I was asking, like, why it flip flops really hard back and forth, like what is and what is not real.
Well, and I think it makes sense because it's like Cindy has this whole plan and she's like, I'm gonna go to the North Pole. And her mom's like, okay, it's gonna be about a month. Like, well, like she's like entertaining the whole Santa thing. Like, it's
Yeah,
very clearly like no one expects Santa to be a real thing. And she's like, I'm gonna write my letter to him and I have a plan and I'm gonna catch him. And everyone's like, okay, like all kids do that, right? And then the fun part of that story is Santa does show up, but it's the Grinch. And I think the whole thing is that the Grinch uses, like, in the 2018, we see him look at like what is Christmas lore. What is Christmas?
right.
Because he doesn't
Yeah,
understand because he never celebrated, even though he lived in fucking Whoville. Like, what did they?
fucking
Those kids
Whoville.
in the orphanage are like kept captive. That
They kind of
orphanage is a
are like
terrible place. Fuck the
fuck.
orphanarium. But like, but so he's like looking at it, he's like, "Ah, Santa, I see. This is what I'll do. Like, this is the lore. This is what kids expect to happen. So if I get caught in the house, I'm just Santa. It's fine." That's,
Yeah,
I think, implicitly the plan in the original one too. That like I'm gonna dress up like Saint Nick. No one will know the difference, but there's not supposed to be Santa. But in the 2001, I think there is, but it doesn't end up mattering. But it's weird. Like you expect in a movie like this for Santa to do a flyover, right?
yeah,
Or in a story like this that
or
they
like
would be
to
like,
end
"Oh,
like
but
that. Yeah.
Santa was there all along." But if that was true, then Christmas would be about stuff.
I guess that actually is a very good point. I didn't even think of that until right now.
Right?
Shit.
Like, if there's a Santa, like, I
God
think
damn it.
that's why,
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Shit.
right?
I have to give you that
But
one.
yeah, then what's the true meaning of Christmas if Santa just flies it? Like, if
Yeah.
Santa's there, he would have, like, that would have been
Because he's
like
still
in
out
A
here
Nightmare
making
Before
stuff.
Christmas, because
Yeah,
well,
but
like
that's
Jack
because we know.
Skellington, right? Obviously, that's the point of that movie. But it's like Jack Skellington, um, rescues Christmas, but then or fucks Christmas, and then Santa fixes it,
Has to
right?
fix it all, yeah.
So, like, if that were what we were doing here, then Santa would have had to fix what the Grinch did, which would mean the meaning of Christmas isn't the meaning of Christmas. So,
Yeah.
no Santa.
Sorry, gang.
No Santa in your Seuss.
Yeah,
Do we
that
have anything
sucks.
else that we haven't kind of gone over?
I do not. I do now that I'm thinking about that, like, I can't believe I didn't get her in that.
What do you rate all of these? How do you feel? How do you want to do that?
I really don't know how you're supposed to rate these. Because if
We
we're
could
doing it,
rate them
like,
in
one at a
order against
time,
each other.
yeah, at the very bottom of my list is gonna be 66. And the only reason for that is because it's the basic story. There's nowhere to go, right?
Fair.
Number 2 is obviously gonna be 2000. It just there's
Fair.
so many problems that I have with it. It has a legitimate villain. He's a fucking asshole. Um, but it is still extremely funny. And I do love all of the like jokes in there. Like he talks to himself. He makes fun of them rhyming. Like,
Yeah, that he had some really good lines in that. It was funny.
yeah. Um, but number 1 definitely has to be, I think, just story-wise, if nothing else, just story-wise, the best story is 2018's. I just
Yep.
like how in depth it got into what it actually was like for the Grinch, and how he grew, and that this was all about like some. It wasn't about the consumerism side of things. We've been over that 100 times. It was just so much better for me, and it was way funnier.
Yeah, it was. I agree that 2018's was the best. I would put the 66 in the middle and the 2000 at the bottom, Kill It With Fire.
I kind of figured that was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, but also but for all the reasons I said before, like there's a lot of value in that. Like it's not devoid of value for
No,
of the Jim Carrey films
of the
that I
Jim
do
Carrey
believe
movies,
are
yeah.
totally devoid of value. This one is not. I liked it. I thought it's the aesthetic that was the problem. I think you
Yeah.
could try to do a pretty similar thing in animation and have it work. It just was like so horrible to look at that, and it was just like, and then there's like people acting. And it's like, oh God, all of this is so bad except Jim Carrey. And also, God help me if the good part is Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So that definitely sits at the bottom. I like the old school one is fun and gives you the feels and it's nice. But the 2018 is for sure like that's getting added to my regular rotation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm glad I didn't see it when it came out. I wasn't ready,
Yeah, I
but
don't
I'm
think
ready
you were.
now. I wish I'd seen it a couple of years ago though,
No,
like in
that's
the
fair.
pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like it. I will watch it again probably this Christmas. Like I liked that movie a lot. And I
Yeah, I
love The
am probably
Grinch
gonna
and I
watch
love
that one
Dr.
again.
Seuss. Yeah, and also Muppet Christmas Carol, which is the
I
best
just
Christmas
watched that
movie.
the other night.
Love it. My niece just watched it the other night. I got
Fuck yeah,
pictures.
she did. Let's
I
go.
know. She's getting all the good family traditions. All
Um,
right.
Let
Take
me
us
pull up the
out of
calendar
here.
because I don't know how I'm supposed to be taking this out of here
Yeah, we didn't fill in that part.
right now. Not even that. So guys,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
going to be our last episode of 2022. We will have a very special Christmas gift episode for the Patreon. So be sure to check that out.
Think it's gonna be Scott being like really nice and me
And
being
Lindsay
not
not being nice
nice.
in any way, shape, or
I
form.
think
Yeah.
that's
No,
what's gonna happen.
I 100% expect that to happen.
Lindsay's coming as the Grinch for her New Year's special, I
Yeah.
think,
I
but in a
totally expect that to happen.
hilarious way where Scott's. Anyway, we're gonna have a fun little special New Year's thing that we're gonna do. So look forward to us getting drunk, and it'll be a little surprise. So tune in around the New Year for that.
Yep, absolutely. But because this is the last episode of the year, as always, guys, thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you so much for helping us get to 6,000 downloads. It's phenomenal. We love you all. We hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Have a great new year. Please be sure to subscribe wherever you guys listen to podcasts, and all of our social media. You can find them all at the bottom of the episode descriptions. Follow us on the Patreon if you want to support us. We have awesome shit going on over there, like special quiz show, Rewind the Timeline. We do post all of our show notes to the episodes as well. Um, Make sure you check it out for the timeline goodies, as well as requesting our movies for Request a Timeline. And as always, guys, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.